It's been 383 days. I don't know about all of you, but there are so many days that I wake up and think to myself, it just can't be true. How is it possible that my cousin Michael is no longer here with us? Some things will just never make sense, and this is surely one of them. On behalf of Christine, Robert, Alora, and the rest of our family, I want to welcome you here today to celebrate a life that was well lived. As I thought about writing this tribute for Michael, I was flooded with memories, emotion, and inspiration. What an honor, a special privilege, to have the opportunity to speak about my cousin Michael's life in a church full of people who also love him so much. Thank you for being here with us. It is my hope that this tribute warms your heart and soothes your soul. May it serve as an inspiration to look at Michael's life for motivation, optimism, and direction after this special service comes to an end. Family, friends, and loved ones, you are incredibly special to Michael. Holidays, birthdays, get-togethers, block parties, vacations, motorcycle rides, dinners, cigar bars, special events, card games, phone calls, text messages. Michael enjoyed all of the precious moments spent with the people that he loved most, you. Michael put his best foot forward in all of his relationships. He was a loving son, a thoughtful grandson, a reliable big brother, a caring nephew, a special cousin, a loyal friend and partner, and quite possibly one of his favorite roles, a joyful uncle. As we continue to move forward, let's be reminded of Michael's love for all his family, friends, and loved ones, and be sure to show up for each other, regardless of how hectic your life might get. Be sure to make time to create special memories together. That's what Michael did, and I know he would want that for all of us. Michael was passionate about what he did for a living. From the early days of preparing to become a police officer to becoming a detective, Michael demonstrated effort, integrity, and commitment to being the best officer and detective he could possibly be. He was one of New York's finest, and Michael took that role and responsibility very serious. He worked diligently to ensure all of his I's were dotted and his T's were crossed. He was meticulous and attentive to detail in a way that impressed all who knew him. But despite giving his career his all, Michael knew when enough was enough. Retiring from the NYPD was given just as much thought and consideration as his entire career was given, as was his decision to bring his gifts and talents to Con Edison. Michael took his work serious and cared deeply about doing a great job, but more than his work was Michael's love for the people he worked side by side with throughout his entire career. Co-workers turned family. That's how Michael made everyone feel, like you were his family. And you were. Maybe not by blood, but definitely by choice. When returning to work on Monday, let's look to treat our work and co-workers the way Michael did. Give it your best, find ways to enjoy it, and care for your colleagues the way you care for your family. Sometimes dysfunctional family, I know, but family nonetheless. And just as Michael did, may we know when it's time to let go, so we can fully enjoy the next chapter of our lives. I asked a few of you to share one word that came to mind when you think about Michael's character. Here's what you said: empathetic, level-headed, respectful, loyal, professional, adventurous, sociable, committed, reliable, compassionate, honest, fair, inquisitive, determined, charismatic, loving, humorous, methodical, well-rounded, witty, sentimental, grounded, kind, and fashionable. Michael was all of that and then some. Let's not forget that he was also a jokester, though. If you were part of his inner circle, you likely found yourself on the receiving end of one of his jokes at one point or another. Christine can attest to many of his pranks. One that stands out as a family favorite is when Michael so generously gave Christine a large glass of milk that was spiked with Tabasco sauce when she was a little girl. Christine definitely didn't find it funny, and neither did Alora. Michael may or may not have received a whooping that day, but it was not enough to stop him from playing jokes on people for the rest of his life. I'm sure he managed to get many of you too. I know he certainly played jokes on Robert and Alora too many times to count. Alora has a special rub to prove it. Ask her about it later. But that was Michael, always ready and willing to have a good laugh. When we leave this church today, I encourage you to reflect on the words that will someday be used to describe your character. How do you want to be remembered? Do more of that, starting today, tomorrow, and keep going all the days that follow. But most importantly, have fun. Life certainly gets hard, clearly. But it is the jokes, the laughter, and the love that will see us through. So go all in, but hold the Tabasco sauce. Michael enjoyed all of the fine things that life had to offer him. He was a big fan of luxury, and he was unapologetic about getting what he wanted. From cars to travel and clothing to fine dining, Michael really did enjoy the good life. There was no justifying or rationalizing the luxurious for him. If he wanted something special, he made sure to get it. That was as true for his condo in Naples as it was for his Rolex, and everything in between. Michael took great pride. Michael didn't ask for permission or try to fit in. He lived his life out loud and was unapologetic about stepping in the room wearing a hot pink shirt, a bright floral tie, and cufflinks that glimmered and glistened. He took great pride in his style and adventurous lifestyle. Let's be sure to take a page out of Michael's book. March to the beat of your own drum. Be your authentic self, and enjoy all the fine things this life has to offer you. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone else, and you don't need to fit in. As a matter of fact, I dare you to stand out. Most importantly, enjoy yourself. We know Michael surely did. If you're ever stuck, confused, or struggling from this point moving forward, I encourage each of you to ask yourself a very simple question. What would Michael Dorto do? I'm confident that will support you to always find your way. Michael, I pray you are enjoying precious moments with Uncle Sal, Aunt Lorell, Nanny, my father, Aunt Linda, Papa Louie, and everyone else who welcomed you the day you rode your motorcycle through the pearly white gates of heaven. The world is a different place without you in it, but I assure you, your memory lives on in each person in this church. I love you. We all love you. Until we meet again, ride free, my cousin. Thank you.